I can't believe I'm here with you both. I've read so much about you in the news over the years.
Oh, good things, I hope.
No, not at all. How's your son doing?
Look, we're not here to talk about my son, but he's graduating soon. So that's how my son is doing.
Meow. Kitty has claws, I see.
And a gun. So don't fuck with me, Junior.
Okay. Mrs. Del Colombo, how are things going with your husband?
Fine.
He isn't still in hiding, is he?
Yeah, I can't do this.
Alexa, play Miami by Will Smith.
What's going on, world? I'm Wesley from AConnectionTV.com and AConnectionTV here on YouTube, the two places on the World Wide Web where we actually adopt similar connections despite our differences. And I'm here to talk to you about Big Brother 22. I don't know if I really cared too much about this particular season. I thought I would because Dayvonne and Bailey were coming back. And those are the only two people a part of the 16 casting or 15 people casted in this house that I even remotely cared about or even thought second about. If I had to pick a third, it would be Nicole A, I think is her name, the one that got kicked out, booted out. But other than that, I really didn't care about the season. The casting was not diverse enough for me. And I didn't know the rest of the other people. I started watching Big Brother around season 15, 16. So I didn't know about the Janelles and the Kasers and the Dannys of the world and the Ians of the world. Didn't know nothing about these people. And even now, didn't really care anything about these people. I liked Janelle for what she brought when she brought it. And I liked Kaser for what he brought when he brought it. But they were out so fast. And it was what it was. Never was a fan. I wasn't a fan of Tyler ever since the beef between him and Bailey. I didn't like that whole season. It was just a lot going on for me. And then Cody's season, it's forgettable, right? But then Bailey and Dayvonne are coming back. And, you know, I don't know if you know that much about me, but if you don't, follow me on Instagram, AConnectionTV, and on Twitter, AConnectionTV. I am a fanatic about certain reality shows. Real World, Road Rules, The Challenge, MTV The Challenge, and Big Brother. Those are the reality shows that I'm actually like feeling and digging and love to watch all of the time. I've always thought of myself as being a great person or pick for Big Brother because my social game would be on point, and I'm great with competitions. I'm the person that's at the house watching the TV, playing the games right along, and getting them like that. And so, you know, so much so that Dayvonne actually hit me up and was like, why didn't you audition? You should audition for the show. I was going to audition for the show, but because I do AConnectionTV.com, which is a miniature Netflix, you should check it out. Subscribe, support. I would love it if you do. We're working on a mobile app right now for iOS and Android users. Bow! Because I run that, it would be very difficult to leave that for 3 months. And I'm the type of person that pays the bills, so I have to pay the bills. I can't just leave and the bills not get paid. And so that's been a huge determining factor for me. But either way, I love Dayvonne. Dayvonne loves and respects me and loves what I do on YouTube so much so that she is a fan of Mona, loves Mona down. But anyways, that's like a cool personal connection with Big Brother. Really dope, right? And so, you know, I didn't think that she was going to end up back on reality TV because she had made this stink that she would not go back on the challenge. To be fair. But she ends up back on Big Brother along with Bailey. And I'm that type of person that wants all of the minorities to get along and to defend each other because we're in the social climate of today's world. It's period. It is abysmal for people of color, period. And it angers me when there are people not of color that act like everything's okay and we're just tripping. They're able to act like that and they're able to talk that way because they're not a person of color. And then it really angers me when people of color act like there's nothing wrong in the world, right? But that's a whole nother video for a whole nother time, and I don't want to dwell over it. It might be kind of impossible because this season is allowing me to just dwell in it. Big Brother 22 is here, and David walks in the house, Bailey walks in the house, and Dayvonne walks in the house. Automatically, I want the three of them to like each other. I want the three of them to get along, and I want the three of them to murk this whole freaking season. Why? Because you have a cast of 16 and there's only 3 people of color. Period. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? And I know people, Kaser is a part of that, sure. Kevin is a part of that, sure. But I'm speaking for my people. Period. Okay? And I'm just like, I don't care if y'all don't know each other. All this game, y'all in this game, y'all need to know each other. Period. And so we start from the beginning of this season, and it's like, you know, from the beginning of when Bailey and Dayvonne walked up to each other, that little side like, hey girl, or whatever, I was like, okay, these two are not gonna like each other. But I saw Bailey's interview, and she had made mention that what I saw was them acknowledging each other like, okay, we got you, girl, right? And so right off the bat, they hit it off. They're A-spoon coons, they're ride or die, they're friends. For whatever reason, or plenty of reasons, David is more connected to Bailey than he is to Dayvonne. And, you know, I've watched the live feeds, and, you know, we find out that Dayvonne comes across as unapproachable, or whatever the case may be, and that, you know, was a part of David's issue. David had a pre-rapport, rapport with Bailey and Swaggy apparently, but he was in his bag this week because he had made mention to, you know, helping them move or whatever, and then they just didn't communicate with him afterward or whatever. I don't know. But Bailey and David are cooler than Dayvonne and David. Either way, I'm only watching them for the three. I'm only watching this show for the 3 of them. And I'm wanting them to be successful. Fast all the way forward to none of them winning HOH. None of them winning HOH. The only thing that they won, David won the power, disruptor power. Dayvonne won veto, and Kevin won veto. And I'm lumping Kevin into this because he's a part of the LGBT community. But what fuels my fire is that none of these minorities are trusting the minorities. And I don't understand that. I just don't understand that. It pisses me off. It pisses me off. Christmas. I liked Christmas in her season. I was more Cody Jessica. I want to say those are the 2 names. I was more Cody Jessica than Christmas. I was ride or die with them. But Christmas was cool. I felt like she was cool because she was a competitor. Christmas, this particular season, not so much. I never had a problem with Nicole F. I didn't walk away thinking that Nicole F was so horrible. This particular season, not so much. She is just, there are a lot of people that are rubbing me extremely the wrong way, and the people that I'm rooting for are failing miserably. Bailey is not in the house because of Christmas. Christmas said that, you know, Bailey said that, you know, Dayvonne's my untouchable. So that was Christmas's excuse to get Bailey out of the house, and to put Dayvonne up. You know, CBS has a way of editing the final footage for us to believe that there was a reason other than anything else for Christmas to put the 2 of them up. And watching the communications, I was like, okay, Dayvonne slipped up. She spoke too much, and Dayvonne is doing that. She's speaking way too much. And, you know, Christmas utilized that as ammunition not to put Tyler up. But unbeknownst to the both of them, Tyler is Christmas's untouchable. So it is what it is. We get past that. Okay? Dayvonne wins the veto, and you have David and Kevin up on the block. David utilizes the disruptor power, which is a power that he earned fair and square. And for whatever reason, he feels like he's compelled to like put on this crying act like he doesn't know who saved himself. I don't think there's anything disrespectful or crazy about saving yourself in Big Brother and then announcing that you save yourself. What you don't announce is that you have the power, but once you use the power, you're like, oh yeah, I had to save myself, y'all not getting rid of me. But he puts on this crying act. And at first, I'm vibing with it like, okay, you're doing a good job. But then when he goes and tries to ask every single member in the house, did you vote for me? Did you vote for me? Did you use the power? Did you use the power? The whole purpose of that was for naught. It was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. Dayvonne wins the veto, and Kevin is sitting here, putting the, shame game or blame game on Dayvonne. Like, if you don't vote for me, then you're not going to get my vote, whatever. Dayvonne ends up using the veto. So I want to talk about that. I am completely ecstatic at the fact that Dayvonne used the veto because Danny and the majority, okay, because I'm pro-minority, the majority was lying to her about saving Kevin, and they were going to vote out Kevin. The fact that they were so butthurt and pissed that Dayvonne used the veto was so, it didn't make sense to me because, like, if she wouldn't have, y'all would have shitted on her, and it just would have made her look even, like, crazy. It would have made her look crazy. So, like, all of the energy that and even Danny said it, like, come on, guys, let's be serious. Like, we were not going to save Kevin, so it is what it is. I'm like, duh. But they still have to act like, oh my God, I can't believe she used the veto. Are you freaking serious? She's nowhere in your alliance. And y'all didn't even invite her into the alliance. Let's make a mention that no person of color was invited into any of the major alliances. The Slick 6 was a joke. Was a complete joke. Period. Complete joke. But again, everybody thinks I'm like, it's making it a race issue. At the end of the day, none of the minorities were invited into the majority alliance. Period. Okay? And we just decided to put two people of color that aren't winning anything at all throughout this whole freaking challenge thus far. We're putting them up because Bailey says that Dayvonne is her untouchable. You really think that somebody not of color is going to be any one of their untouchables? When y'all got the whole alliance on lock? Are we serious here? Anyways, Christmas having that comment about, I don't want to get shot. I wish they would have put that on TV, but they wouldn't have. Nicole Franzel is ruining her social world. Christmas is done. Danny is done. Memphis, all the restaurants that he's owning, I don't, like, a lot of these people are really showing their true colors this particular season. Where everybody thought this was going to be a socially conscious and socially aware type of season, it's not. And it isn't. Dayvonne is still in his house. She used the power of veto. She was very smug during her speech, and I appreciated every minute of it. It made Danny have to make a decision. And she puts Ian up. Now, unbeknownst to us, I didn't know that Ian was in an alliance with the four of them. Nicole, Danny, Ian, and I want to say Cody or somebody else. Because Ian was like butthurt about this whole situation. And I'm like in my brain, like, you have to realize that you did win this game before. I don't want you to ever think about winning it again. So you're not going to last long. But again, they were in an alliance. Ian didn't know about the majority alliance, and it was what it was. He was butthurt about it. So they kick out Ian. Tyler is still in the house. I don't know how, but he is. He's still in the house. And Nicole Franzel votes to take Ian out of the house. She's a flip vote. Ian goes, Tyler stays. Dayvonne is confused. David is confused. Kevin is confused. Automatically, those three are on the outskirts. They're not the majority, they're the minority. Period. So, I'm at a point now where I'm annoyed with Dayvonne because she's not believing that David did not flip the vote. And Kevin makes mention, Kevin is real messy this season. Kevin made mention of Nicole possibly being the flip vote. But Dayvonne is like, no, I looked at her face. And in my brain, in my heart, my spirit, my soul, I'm like, Dayvonne, you're usually good. You have all the alliances right, but for whatever reason, you can't pick Danny. You can't pick Danny. Danny told you to your face that she was going to save Kevin, but she wasn't. So you're sitting here saying you looked at her face and felt like she wasn't lying. But David confesses his blood, sweat, and tears to you, telling you that he was not the flip vote, but you call him an Uncle Tom, and you don't believe him. Why? Why? Because he sucks at the game? Is that why? You know, David confessed to you and Bailey about Cody and Tyler, and you still don't have the ability or the capacity to trust what's coming out of his mouth if he's saying that he's sincere? Why? Why? And that burns me up inside, because y'all are the minority in a house of the majority, and y'all are not making it to the final nothing. To the nothing. You're not making it. You're not making it. You're just not. Because y'all aren't winning enough to even take yourselves off the freaking block, and y'all aren't in power. Y'all aren't winning HOH. Why could we not put together a fire extinguisher? Between the 3 minority left in the house, why could we not put together a fire extinguisher? I do not know. Or fire hydrant, I'm sorry. I do not know, and I'm pissed. I'm pissed because now Dayvonne and Kevin are on the block, and apparently Kevin's the one to go, but you never know. And if none of these two win veto, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. I'm annoyed. I'm annoyed. I'm really, really annoyed because I want the minority to become the majority. That's what I want. It's been over 10 years that we've had people of color in the jury house. But I didn't come all the way here to just go sit in jury just so I can pick somebody else to win other than myself. Like, am I the only one that feels, if you're a person of color, because if you're not, you have no room to speak if you're not. Like, you can't say, oh, that's just a game. No, because the things that bother me don't bother you. Naturally, they don't bother you. They don't bother you. You're not a person of color. So it's not going to even be a part of your brain to think that, oh, it's because, oh, I feel some sort of way. You're not going to feel some sort of way if you're a part of the majority. And that house of 16, 3 people of color, that's it. 4 people of color, that's it. Anyways, David and Dayvonne, D&D, could take over that house. If they put all their differences aside, if they work and actually win a fucking comp, and if they just make it make sense, sis, make it make sense. Why didn't she why was Ian the top choice? Make it make sense, sis. Kevin has all the alliances paid, and so does Dayvonne, but they're not making it make sense. I don't know about y'all. This particular season was a wash for me. It was a waste of space. If Dayvonne gets sent home, there will be no reason for me to watch it. David absolutely does not know what he's doing in this game, and everybody just thinks he's a joke at this point. They just think he's a joke. He's not winning anything, and he's just a joke to everybody. So I don't know how far he's going to make it, but quite honestly, there are going to be 2 people of non-color sitting in the final 2. Period. And it's only the faults of David, Kevin, and Dayvonne. I'm not believing that they're going to make it that far. I could be wrong. I don't know. What do y'all think? I know I may be rubbing y'all the wrong way because, out west you're talking about, it doesn't matter. It matters to me because I'm a person of color. And when you watch Big Brother all the time and you don't see people that look like you making it to the finish line, it is what it is. When the last season or the season before that, they had Camp Comeback or Camp Brokeback Mountain, whatever they were, and all the minorities were sitting in that fucking camp wearing these ridiculous ass outfits. Come on now. Come on. Come on. And she gonna call him my Uncle Tom. Like, if they show Dayvonne calling David an Uncle Tom on TV, we already know where CBS lies. Period. Because they didn't show Christmas talking about I don't want to get stabbed and get shot, and Christmas is a known felon. I don't know. Y'all leave your comments below. Let me know who y'all think Memphis wants to go home. Who is going home? And is Dayvonne gonna make it to top 3? Y'all answer those questions below. Let me know. And thank you for watching. Deuces.